Fox canceled the show in 1997 without telling the cast. The actors who carried the network for 11 seasons learned about it from fans. Episode 1 opened with Al Bundy flushing a toilet. 2 episodes filmed for the 11th season did not air during the original run. Married with Children built a 4th network, drew 20 million viewers a week at its peak, and finished without a single Emmy after 7 nominations. One cast member buried a daughter while the show was filming. Another was diagnosed with cancer at 36 and multiple sclerosis at 49. A third walked away to chase Broadway and never looked back. 10 cast members. Here is what happened to all of them. Number 1 is Ed O'Neill, the man whose audition for Al Bundy lasted as long as it took him to slump his shoulders and sigh. Producers cast him on the spot. He has said the part reminded him of his Uncle Joe. Edward Leonard O'Neill was born in Youngstown, Ohio, in April 1946, eldest of 5 children of a steelworker father and a social worker mother. He played defensive line for Youngstown State, and in 1969 the Pittsburgh Steelers signed him as an undrafted rookie free agent under their first-year head coach, Chuck Noll. The man cut in training camp that summer was competing for a roster spot with 2 other rookies named Joe Green and L.C. Greenwood, both bound for the Steel Curtain and the Hall of Fame. O'Neill drove into a Pittsburgh bar that night, ordered a beer, and watched himself released on the local sports report. A state trooper later let him off a traffic stop after recognizing the name. 18 years sat between Steelers training camp and the Bundy couch. He taught social studies at his old high school. New York came next with $1,700 from selling his car. Broadway followed in 1979 in Knockout, where he started as understudy and took over the lead when the star walked off. The Al Bundy audition arrived in 1986 after a casting agent saw him playing Lenny in Of Mice and Men at Hartford Stage. He married actress Catherine Russoff in 1986, the year before Married with Children premiered. 40 years later, they are still married. They have 2 daughters, Claire and Sophia. The marriage has outlasted the show by nearly 3 decades and is still standing. 2 Golden Globe nominations came for Al Bundy. Both lost. Modern Family arrived in 2009, won 22 Emmys for the show overall, and nominated him 3 times for lead actor in a comedy. He lost all 3. In December 2007, after 16 years of training under Rorion Gracie, O'Neill earned his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and has called it the greatest achievement of his life apart from his children. He played Donald Sterling in the FX miniseries Clipped in 2024. He is 80 years old. Los Angeles is home. The work has not stopped. He is still married to the woman he met before Al Bundy was ever cast. The next entry on this list arrived at her audition wearing the bouffant red wig she had designed herself, because she wanted to satirize every 1960s television housewife she had ever seen. Number 2 is Katey Sagal, who played Peg Bundy. Catherine Louise Sagal was born in Los Angeles in January 1954, into a 5-child show business family. Norman Lear, the architect of All in the Family, was her godfather and the man who introduced her parents to each other. Boris Sagal, her father, was a Russian Jewish television director. Her mother, Sarah Zwilling, was a singer and a writer. Both were dead before Katey turned 28. Sarah died of heart disease in 1975. The accident on set claimed Boris in May 1981, when he walked into the spinning tail rotor of a helicopter on the set of the miniseries World War III. Singing came before acting. She sang backup for Bob Dylan, Etta James, and Tanya Tucker in the 1970s, contributed to Gene Simmons' first solo album in 1978, and toured twice with Bette Midler's Harlettes. Roseanne Barr was offered the role of Peg Bundy first and turned it down. Sagal walked into the audition wearing the wig. In October 1991, during the show's 6th season, Sagal was 7 months pregnant with a child the writers had already worked into Peg's storyline. The emergency C-section ended in stillbirth. Sagal named her daughter Ruby Jean. Producers, trying to spare a grieving Sagal further stress, rewrote the entire on-screen pregnancy as a dream sequence, mentioned briefly at the end of the next episode and then never again. The show kept going. In her 2 later real pregnancies, in 1994 and 1996, The writers refused to put Peg on screen at all. She was sent traveling the world to reunite her parents while Sagal filmed in taxicabs and at craps tables, midsection always obscured. She married drummer Jack Cameron White in November 1993. 3 children followed: Ruby Jean, Sarah Grace in August 1994, and Jackson James in March 1996. The marriage to Jack White ended in divorce in July 2000. Jack White himself died in July 2024 at age 70. Sagal married Sons of Anarchy creator Kurt Sutter in October 2004, and their daughter Esme Louise was born by surrogate in January 2007. 3 Golden Globe nominations for Peg Bundy, 0 wins. The Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Television Drama came in 2011 for Sons of Anarchy. She is 72 years old. Leela on Futurama is still hers to voice. The wig is in storage. Did you know about Ruby Jean before today? Or did you think the dream sequence in Season 6 was just bad writing? Tell me in the comments. Number 3 is Christina Applegate, who joined the cast at 15 years old as Kelly Bundy and grew up on the Bundy couch in front of 20 million people a week. She was born in November 1971 in Hollywood. Her father, Robert "Bobby" Applegate, was a record producer at Dot Records. Nancy Pretty, her mother, was a singer-actress. The two separated soon after Christina was born, and Nancy raised her alone. Andrew Wyeth, the painter, named a painting Christina's World, and Nancy named her daughter after it. Television came at 3 months, first inside her mother's arms on Days of Our Lives, then in a Playtex bottle commercial. Applegate joined the Screen Actors Guild before kindergarten. Her co-stars on Married with Children, Ed O'Neill in particular, have said in interviews that only an actress of Applegate's intelligence could have played Kelly Bundy that vacant. She nailed her takes on first or second. She was 36 years old in April 2008 when a follow-up MRI found something funky in one breast. Applegate had dense breast tissue, and her doctor had suggested the imaging as a precaution. The biopsy confirmed cancer. She kept working for 5 weeks before telling anyone. A double mastectomy followed in August 2008, and she elected to have her ovaries and fallopian tubes removed in 2017. Multiple sclerosis came in June 2021. She announced it in August. Her legs had been buckling on the set of Dead to Me for months. By the end of Season 1, she was being brought to set in a wheelchair. The line she keeps using publicly is that she lives kind of in hell. She uses a cane. Hiking, running, and tennis are gone. Her daughter Sadie Grace Lenoble, born in January 2011 to Applegate and the musician Martin Lenoble, is 15 now and has, in Applegate's words, lost the mother she had to this fucking thing. Her marriage to actor Jonathan Shaich began in October 2001 and ended in 2005. She married Martin Lenoble in 2013. Her father Bobby died in 2025. Her memoir, You with the Sad Eyes, was published on March 3, 2026. She is 54. With Jamie Lynn Sigler, who has lived with MS herself, she co-hosts the Messy podcast. Applegate has called Ed O'Neill and Katey Sagal her TV parents and credits them with raising her. Coming in at number 4 is the cast member who, while playing the perpetually unsuccessful Bud Bundy on a primetime sitcom, was simultaneously co-running one of the most influential underground rap parties in early 1990s Los Angeles. David Faustino threw the parties at the Whiskey A Go-Go and called them ballistics. NWA, KRS-One, and Above the Law performed there. The freestyle battles that ended each night launched the career of an unknown rapper named Will.I.Am, who, in Faustino's own words, took it every night. People couldn't beat him. He became a big star at Ballistics, and then Eazy-E signed him. Faustino was born in Los Angeles in March 1974 into a working show business family. His father Roger was a costumer. The Lily Tomlin special put him on television at 3 months old. By the time he was 20, 150 TV, film, and commercial credits sat behind him. Married with Children arrived at age 13. He played Bud for 259 episodes. He met Andrea Elmer at a Los Angeles spiritual center and married her at the Little White Wedding Chapel in Las Vegas in January 2004. They separated in May 2006, and he filed for divorce in February 2007. In May of that same year, in Florida, a misdemeanor marijuana arrest sent him to a drug rehabilitation facility. Longtime partner Lindsey Bronson has been with him since approximately 2010, and their daughter Ava Marie Grace was born on November 14, 2015. He is 52. Voice work has filled the post-show years. Mako on The Legend of Korra, Dagur the Deranged on DreamWorks Dragons, Helia on Winx Club. He DJs every Wednesday on Dash Radio under the show name Old Scratch Radio Hour. The record label he runs is called Old Scratch Records. Bud Bundy was a high school virgin loser. David Faustino was discovering Will.I.am. Number 5 is the cast member who, in 1993, became the first openly gay, regularly featured actor on a primetime sitcom. Amanda Bearse came out while the show was still in production. She kept playing Marcy's marriages to David Garrison and then Ted McGinley on screen. The show kept going. She was born in Winter Park, Florida in August 1958. Birmingham Southern College came first, then the neighborhood playhouse in New York under Sanford Meisner. The soap opera All My Children gave her 4 years as Amanda Cousins, and the 1985 horror comedy Fright Night made her a leading lady opposite William Ragsdale. Marcy Rhodes, later Marcy Darcy, became hers in 1987. Bearse began directing the show in 1991 and directed 31 episodes across the run, more than any other Married with Children regular. Ed O'Neill is the cast member she has spent 30 years not getting along with. At a fan convention in Raleigh in 2018 asked about him, Bearse quoted Thumper from Bambi. "If you do not have something nice to say, do not say anything at all." She added that O'Neill was not happy towards the end of the series, and that this is partly why the show did not get a proper finale. O'Neill, in a 2013 Television Academy interview, described threatening Bearse during a makeup room argument with the line, "I have a button I could push. That button says, 'Get rid of Amanda Bearse.' Your button does not work." When Bearse got married, O'Neill and David Faustino were the only cast members not invited. She told O'Neill she expected they would laugh at the sight of 2 women in tuxedos walking down a church aisle. He has said on camera more than once that, yes, it would have been funny. Bearse and her wife Carrie Schenken were married in 2010. Their daughter Zoe was born in 1994 to Bearse, and her then-partner Sandra Hess via insemination. She is 67 years old. North Carolina is home now. Directing has continued. Reba, Mad TV, Jessie with Christina Applegate, Dharma and Greg, The Big Gay Sketch Show with Rosie O'Donnell. Bros and Tapawingo brought her back on screen in 2022 and 2023. If you want more cast retrospectives like this one, hit the subscribe button. There is a new video every week. Number 6 is Ted McGinley, who joined the cast in 1991 to replace David Garrison's neighbor and became the second husband Marcy spent 6 years annoying. McGinley was born in Newport Beach, California, in May 1958. His father sold cardboard. Heart surgeons employed his mother as a nurse. Newport Harbor High School water polo took up his teenage years, and USC took up 3 of his college ones, until a 1979 GQ photograph pulled him toward New York. Happy Days cast him as Roger Phillips, Marion Cunningham's nephew, in 1980. Revenge of the Nerds in 1984 put him in a leather jacket as Stan Gable. From there, he went to The Love Boat, then Dynasty, then Baby Talk, then Married with Children. A website called jumptheshark.com gave him a nickname for the pattern. Founder John Hine called him the patron saint of shark jumping because he kept joining hit shows in their later years. McGinley took the joke gracefully, better than gracefully, actually. He spoofed it himself in an episode of Married with Children by asking Al Bundy, "Another picture, Captain? I mean, Fonzie? Al?" He married actress Gigi Rice on June 21, 1991, the same year he joined the show. They have 2 sons, Bo Martin and Quinn Thomas. The marriage is in its 35th year as of 2026, the longest among the principal cast besides Ed O'Neill's. He is 67 years old. Derek Bishop on the Apple TV series Shrinking is his current role. The faith-based film world claimed a chunk of his post-Bundy decade. Christmas with a capital C, Do You Believe? God's Not Dead, A Light in Darkness, and the family drama The Baxters. The man who allegedly killed 4 hit shows kept his wife. Number 7 is the only original regular to leave the show on his own. David Garrison was the first cast member hired. The role was Steve Rhodes, Marcy's first husband, the straight-laced banker, the guy whose job was being scandalized by Al. He left after 4 seasons. The going-away gift from the producers was a blown-up police mugshot photograph of Garrison in character, captioned, "Gotta sing, gotta dance, gotta fucking starve to death." He was born in Long Branch, New Jersey in June 1952, the son of a school administrator and a teacher. Freehold High School, class of 1970, was where he started acting on stage. Bruce Springsteen had attended the same school during Garrison's freshman year. Boston University College of Fine Arts gave him a summa cum laude degree in 1974, and Arena Stage in Washington, D.C., then handed him a resident company position for several years. A Day in Hollywood / A Night in the Ukraine, the Broadway musical, gave him a Tony nomination at age 27 for Best Featured Actor. 4 years later, Steve Rhodes gave him a top 50 Nielsen sitcom. Garrison chose the Tony nominations profession over the Nielsen one. The explanation came in 2004 to Talkin' Broadway. "I left the show after 4 years, and that was fine. My bank account may curse the decision every so often, but I don't. It was time. Before I crossed over to that place where I would only be remembered as that funny next-door neighbor." He played the Wizard in Wicked on the first national tour, then on Broadway, then in Chicago, then in Los Angeles. 15 months in the Broadway house alone. Titanic on Broadway in 1997 came before that. Bells Are Ringing came after. The Great Society followed on Broadway in 2019. TV credits piled up on Law & Order, Everybody Loves Raymond, Murphy Brown, The West Wing, and 30 Rock. He is 73 years old. New York City is home. The producers told him he would starve. The Tony nomination, the Drama Desk nomination, the Helen Hayes Award, and the lead in Wicked say otherwise. Number 8 is the only cast member to die during the show's 11-year run, and the only one to receive an on-screen funeral. His real name was Michael. He was a Briard, born in Bel Air, California in 1983. His trainer Stephen Ritt found him through a Los Angeles Times classified advertisement in the mid-1980s and got him for free because the wealthy original owner felt wrong charging money for a dog. 18 months of training preceded his first camera work. Janet Jackson's When I Think of You music video was his first credit in 1986. The producers of Married with Children were looking for an old, lazy, short-haired dog. They cast a young, energetic, long-haired Briard anyway. Buck Bundy was the cynical inner monologue of the family. The voice belonged to writer-producer Kevin Curran from seasons 4 through 7, then Kim Weiskopf from 8 through 10. By the time the dog was 12 and a half, Ritt noticed he could no longer reliably read hand signals from the cameras. Married with Children retired the character on October 1, 1995, in an episode called Requiem for a Dead Briard, in which Buck dies off-screen and is reincarnated as a Cocker Spaniel named Lucky. The closing card read, "Dedicated to Buck the dog, who with this episode begins a well-earned retirement and hopefully a nice gig at stud. We'll miss you, buddy. Lift a leg?" The producers. 9 months passed between that dedication and the actual death. He was 13 years old. The cause was age-related natural causes. Acton, California was where it happened, on May 28, 1996. Number 9 is the man who played Bob Rooney, No Ma'am treasurer and Al Bundy's high school buddy, and who has spent his post-show decades playing tenor banjo in a band called the Wooligans. Edward Earl Bell was born in Norfolk, Virginia in December 1955. His father served in the Navy and the family moved frequently before settling in the Chicago area. Bell began acting in California in 1983. The 1984 series Herndon paired him with a young Ted McGinley, the connection that would matter 10 years later when both turned up in the Bundy house. Cheers and Different Strokes gave him guest spots. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead in 1991 put him in a frame with Christina Applegate. The 1995 Billy Crystal romantic comedy Forget Paris cast him as a memorable, angry basketball fan. Bob Rooney took up 23 episodes of Married with Children from 1993 to 1997. After the show, Bell appeared in Air Force One in 1997, Water for Elephants in 2011, and Hail, Caesar, in 2016. From 1998 to 2004, he and Tom McClister, his old Bundy castmate, headlined a Christmas puppet show called the Tom McClister Christmastime Theatrical Extravaganza. Bell played the magician. He is 70 years old. Number 10 is the cast member whose Bundy shoe store oddball was a small slice of the most varied resume on this list. Thomas McClister was born in New York City in May 1949. The 1980s gave him supporting roles all over film and television. Midnight Run in 1988 made him bail bondsman Redwood. That same year, he played Bob Klein in Twins, opposite Schwarzenegger and DeVito. Star Trek. Deep Space. Nine put him in 1993 makeup as the Claystron Kolos in the episode Q-less. Married with Children gave him 16 episodes as Ike across seasons 9 through 11. After the Bundy era, he played a lawyer in Clint Eastwood's Best Picture-winning $1 Million Baby in 2004. Crazy in Alabama, Grand Theft Parsons, Cradle to the Grave, Envy, NCIS, Crossing Jordan, Bones. The parts kept coming. The last credited acting role on his IMDb page is the PBS series Mercy Street in 2016, where he played an old soldier. He is 76 years old. The shoe store oddball was always wider than Ike suggested. 11 seasons, 262 episodes, 7 Emmy nominations, 0 wins, 20 million viewers a week at the peak, 1 stillbirth, 1 cancer diagnosis at 36, 1 multiple sclerosis diagnosis at 49, 1 Tony-nominated walkout, 1 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, 1 15-month run as the Wizard in Wicked, 1 boycott, 1 feud, and 1 dog who got a goodbye card written 9 months before he actually needed it. Of the 10 cast members in this video, 9 are alive. The dog is freeze-dried.